So as far as things are concerned for the other half of the Ferrari garage and the Red Bull garage is not going too nice. But here we go on lap 16. It's a massive dive bomb up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. No contact was made, but we dip a wheel in the gravel. Oh my word. Turbocharged 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, we're back on F1 2020, back with the career mode, driving for the Scuderia, the prancing horse. Guys, it is time for our home Grand Prix at Monza in Italy. And if you guys are a follower of the series, you will know the last time we went to Monza, we came out with the dub. We took the victory for Scuderia Ferrari. Let's hope we can repeat that success this episode in Italy. But we've got 4 other cars that we need to worry about, and that is the 2 Renaults and the 2 Mercedes. And while you're busy watching this entertaining video, even though it's only a minute in, no worries, hit that like down below. And while you're down there, go check out the links in the description down below. Go subscribe to my second channel, Forza Watch Gaming, that I run with It's Assassins, for some non-racing content that I'm sure you will enjoy. Now guys, heading in towards this episode, we've had a reliability upgrade that has failed. It's a gearbox durability upgrade. We repurchased that, so that will come in for Monza. And you guys can see I'm also just, shopping a bit around to see if there's any other upgrades. Unfortunately, we did not have enough resource points to buy any of the upgrades, so it's time to head to Italy. And guys, just a quick thing while you guys check out what I'm doing on screen. I'm choosing my tire allocation and all these beautiful things. Guys, just quickly, I have said this in the past before, and I'm going to mention it again for those of you guys that regularly watch my channel. Guys, I'm unfortunately in a very awkward situation where I've been without a job for more than a year now. So unfortunately, I am not able to get my hands on F1 2021. Pause for a second. Let's quickly run through the team standings when it comes to the performance index. Mercedes, AMG, Petronas Racing are still leading the way from us and Ferrari in P2. So Mercedes have caught up to us and have now surpassed us. So we really need to watch out for those 2 Black Panthers, Bottas and Hamilton. Then you've got Racing Point P3, Red Bull are in P4 with Renault P5, but we've seen Renault are at this stage really doing much better than Red Bull and Racing Point, so keep an eye on all 10 those top cars. Myself, Vettel, the 2 Mercedes, the 2 Racing Points, the 2 Red Bulls, and the 2 Renaults as well. You've got AlphaTauri in P6, McLaren in P7, just ahead of Alfa Romeo Racing in P8, Haas are in P9, with Williams still bringing up the rear end of the field. Now guys, I'm going to continue on about my whole situation with with F1 2021 in just a second, but the first thing we have to do is we have to head towards qualifying for our home Grand Prix. So without further ado, let's head to quali. In quali, guys, while you guys see what's happening on screen, all the details will be there, so you guys just need to pay a little bit more attention. But yeah, guys, just quickly, back on the whole story with me, not with the whole F1 2021. Guys, like I've said, it's been more than a year now that I've been without a job. The whole thing with me living in South Africa, with the whole COVID situation being really bad in South Africa, getting a job has been an absolute, I don't even know how to describe it. It's been nearly impossible. But guys, I've been putting a lot of time into my YouTube channel. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've gone through a real bad emotional patch the past 6 months. Actually more, the past 8 months. That's why the content hasn't been as intense as it was last year. And excuse me for talking over Jeff. But yeah, guys, so I've just I don't have money now to buy F1 2021, but that does not mean the channel is going to stand still. We are still going to do a lot of content on the channel. You guys know Wreckfest is here, Need for Speed Heat is here, and I'm going to continue with the career mode. I'm on F1 2020 as well as F1 2020 My Team. So guys, there's still going to be a lot of content on the channel, and if you want even more, like I said, go check out the links in the description down below to go check out my second channel, Forward So Watch Gaming. But guys, away from that, obviously I know the hype for F1 2021 is big, and always when the yearly F1 game releases, it's all about, you know, the new F1 game. But I know you guys are a proper solid fan base, and I hope that you guys will keep supporting me throughout this time. So to show you your support, drop a like down below, and if you are new, don't forget to hit that subscribe and ding that bell to never miss a future episode. But guys, we are in qualifying. Just a quick little rundown. Qualifying is not going to plan. We are very much off the pace of the rest of all the front runners. We are currently sitting in P14, just ahead of Giovinazzi and the Alfa Romeo, and sandwiched in between the two McLarens. We come around the final corner for our final lap in qualifying around Parabolica. We go towards the outside of the track to maximize the speed. It is now going to be us in P.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three: Ricciardo, Bottas, and Sergio Perez. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around Parabolica, the last and most demanding of this track's 11 corners. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Parker. They've got a really good lead in the championship going into this weekend. So it feels to me that they've got one hand on the trophy.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Crofty. Yes, it looks like a big lead, but all it takes is a locked break into turn one, a sticky wheel nut in the pit stop, and that could all get turned on its head. You can never discount one more sting in the tail.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Hamilton, Esteban Ocon, and Stroll, Kvyat, Parker, Verstappen, and Pierre Gasly, Vettel, Albon, Charles Leclerc, and Sainz, Giovinazzi, Norris, Kimi Raikkonen, and Kevin Magnussen, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today.
And Jeff, that is exactly what we're going to try and do. Guys, this is going to be a full wet Grand Prix, intermediates all the way. So traction is going to be a bit of an issue, but we'll see what we can do. If you're new to the channel, like I've already said, go down below, hit that subscribe down below, and don't forget to ding that bell to turn on your notifications to never ever miss an awesome video here on Turbo Fox Races. Guys, it's going to be an intense video. I'm going to up my front downforce a bit, even though it's Monza. With this rain and understeer going to be a problem on the intermediates, we're going to go up with the wings on the front, because that's one of the only things we can tune after Parc Ferme is active. But guys, it's going to be a good one. It's Italy. I hope you guys are rooting for me. Enjoy the formation lap. Are you guys ready for the Italian Grand Prix, our home race for Ferrari? We head to 5 red lights, and let's go for the Italian Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas on the front row. Right behind them it is Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton. It's a very slippery start for everybody on the grid because it's a wet start. Here we go into the first corner. There's a lot of cars battling for position here. Bottas tries to go up the inside of Danny Rick as Hamilton is side by side with Perez, and there's a 3-1 moment behind them. And you guys can see it's not just me who struggled in qualifying. Vettel qualified in P11. My teammate, we were only in P8, but it seems like one of us has had a good start. We'll jump back towards a replay of the start in just a second. But Valtteri Bottas leads the way from Daniel Ricciardo in P2, and let's jump back towards the start. Lewis Hamilton was in P3, by the way. This is the POV, well, the engine cover POV of Lance Stroll. You guys can see we get off to an absolute stonker of a start. We jump on board with Esteban Ocon as we're heading towards the first corner. Ocon absolutely opens up the door for me on the inside. It's a 3-1 moment between myself, Ocon, and Kvyat. You guys can see they shove me up to the outside, and now there's wheel backing all the way through. Myself and Ocon, we go side by side as we head in towards this next right-handed bend of Monza. In the dry it's flat out, but in intermediate it's still flat out. But it's a very slippery and risky way to go with heavy fuel at the beginning of the race. But we just cut off Ocon's nose, heading in towards the middle sector chicane, and that has been a beautiful start. We go from P8 to P5, and now we chase after the pink racing point of Sergio Perez. But let's get back to the action. Bottas leads the way from Ricciardo in P2, Hamilton P3, Perez P4, ourselves P5, Ocon P6 with Stroll P7, and Danny Kvyat in P8. Down the hill, underneath the bridge, heading in towards, I nearly said Parabolica, Ascari, there we go, heading in towards Ascari. You guys see all the drivers we're just slowly but surely easing our way into the race because it's very slippery, very unpredictable with these wet conditions. But it's been a good start, and let's see if we can actually now get a hold of the track conditions and start chasing down the top four. Because you guys have seen the Ferrari has not been the best in quali pace this season so far, but race pace we have really sorted out this Ferrari. But the thing is, we can't forever just neglect quali pace. We're going to have to work on that in future episodes. But here we go, down the main straight. Esteban Ocon is tucked up right underneath my gearbox. You have to see he's got overtake mode engaged, but at this stage he is not close enough to make a move. And guys, also remember, as soon as it's wet weather, DRS gets disabled until the track is dry enough. So the rear wing flap, none of that is going to happen. You guys see we head towards the end of lap 2 and the start lap 3. You guys can see we are really chasing down Sergio Perez for P4 in this race. We pull to the outside in these wet weather conditions, early on the brakes to not lock up or have a big moment into the first corner. We go right around the outside of Perez. You can literally say sailing around the outside. We give him the squeeze at the end of the first corner, and that is us now up into P4. So it's only one Renault and 2 Mercedes ahead of us, but it's still a long race to go. But guys, it was clear to me very quickly in this race that we have got a lot of good pace. Ocon tries to get a little bit of a move done here on Perez, but Perez is still just a little bit too quick for Ocon. We now jump on board with Esteban Ocon at the end of lap 3, and you guys see Ocon is really giving Perez a hard time. Perez has really not adapted to these conditions as quickly as most of us, so Perez is really having a hard time. Up the inside goes Ocon, around Parabolica, down the main straight. Who's going to have the better straight line speed? The Renault-powered Renault or the Mercedes-powered Racing Point? I nearly said Aston Martin. Sorry guys, F1 2021 brain kicking in, but I still need to remember that we are in F1 2020 on the game. You guys can see here tries Lance Stroll. Perez's teammate tries to make a move around the outside of Perez, then to the inside of the second part of the chicane, but Perez stays ahead of his teammates. We now jump on board with ourselves at the end of lap 5. Is Jeff gonna say something? No, he's not. So we go on board with ourselves. You guys can see we are 2.9 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton at this stage, but we just go and set a purple middle sector, and you guys can see I'm very quickly easing into these conditions, and I'm trying to chase as hard as I can. I overfueled the car to make sure that I've got enough fuel to push throughout this race. With the colder conditions in the rain, as well as being in clean air at this stage, I can really wring the neck out of this Ferrari engine. And here we go through Parabolica. It's a very steady way to go through there, because you guys can see the rear end it just wants to snap the whole time. We will go a little bit wide coming out of Parabolica, but we do set a personal best. What are we going to ask Jeff?
Fastest lap at this point in time is a 1 minute 28.6.
Okay, so we are just about 2.5 tenths away from the fastest lap, guys, but that means our pace is good. At this stage, actually I do not know who has the fastest lap at this stage, but let's see if we can steal it. We come across the line for the end of lap 8.
Gap to car in front is 2.3 seconds.
You guys can see we are closing down Hamilton, as Jeff just told us, but it's very nip and tuck. We head towards the start of lap 11, and you guys can see Hamilton is actually stuck behind Ricciardo, and Ricciardo is starting to drop back from Bottas. So this is a very neat situation for us. Bottas isn't running away with it, but every lap he extends that gap by 1/10 to 2/10 of a second because Hamilton is putting Ricciardo under pressure. But even at Monza, with these modern F1 cars being so hard to follow with, making an overtake without DRS is so hard. You really have to focus in this situation. But you guys see the race is close to halfway now, and we are right behind Lewis Hamilton. We are now within a second. So now I need to play around a bit with my fuel modes to make sure that I don't overheat the engine. But with it being wet weather as well, we've got more than enough battery in our ERS to play with. Heading in towards the middle of lap 13 through the middle sector chicane, you guys can see I'm really trying to get onto the back of Hamilton, but every time I get closer I make a silly error or just miss an apex, and then Hamilton gets me back by more than half a second. But at this stage things are not going too bad. I've got the pace, I just need to find a way to overtake Hamilton and Ricciardo, because I even feel that I might have the pace to catch Esteban Ocon. We jump towards the end of that lap, guys, and Ricciardo, Hamilton and myself are into the pit lane. Who's going to be the quickest? Mercedes mechanics, Ferrari mechanics, or Renault mechanics? There we go. Hamilton straps on his new set of intermediates. He does get out ahead of us, but will we get out ahead of Ricciardo? No, he does not. So we are still exactly as we were when we came into the pit lane. It is line stirred between for yellow, black, and red. But here we go. Coming out of the pit lane. There goes Ricciardo, there goes Hamilton, and there goes myself. And here we jump on board with Antonio Giovinazzi. And as you guys not on board, we jump onto Antonio Giovinazzi. You can see heading into the first corner. He's side by side with me. We have to pinch him towards the inside curve. It's a little bit aggressive there. I was a little bit aggressive, guys, but that could have basically ruined my race. I had to get out ahead of Giovinazzi, even though that was a little bit of a harsh move. I did get a warning from the stewards, however, so I did get a little bit of a slap on the wrist. The next time it would be a black and white flag, and I would have a penalty coming my way. So we've learned our lesson. Here we go into the lane. On the next lap is Bottas, who's got about a 2.5 second lead before the pit stops commenced. So Bottas is in a very good position. You can see everybody diving into the pit lane. Most people dived in. I'm on the same lap as Bottas. There was only a few people that came with me, Ricciardo and Hamilton. We jump on board with Daniel Ricciardo, and you guys can see there a little bit in the distance. There is Bottas. So Ricciardo has definitely has had a little bit of a stroke of not a stroke of luck, a stroke of brilliance to go a lap early, because look how much time he gained going for the undercut. So basically, the top 4 cars now are separated by less than 2 seconds. It's Bottas leading the way from Hamilton in P2, Ricciardo P2, Hamilton P3, myself P4, Ocon is in P5 in the second Renault. So it's a very good race for Renault still. Perez is still in P6 with his racing point. In P7 it is his teammate Lance Stroll, with Max Verstappen in P8 having an absolute worldie here for Red Bull. It's not been a good race. Is worldie a positive or a negative? I'm not sure. My teammate Vettel is in P9, so he is up by 2 positions, but still not nearly enough. And the second Red Bull, Albon, is sitting pretty in P10. So as far as things are concerned for the other half of the Ferrari garage and the Red Bull garage is not going too nice. But here we go on lap 16. It's a massive dive bomb up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. No contact was made, but we tap a wheel in the gravel. Oh my word, we can set a purple first sector. It's not going to be a fastest lap thanks to that move. We lost about a half a second going through those corners, but what an absolutely beautiful move on Lewis Hamilton. Guys, I'm not going to lie, this was a little bit of desperation, because I was just stuck behind them, so I just absolutely broke like 50 meters later, and I just managed to make the corner. You can see a massive snap of oversteer coming out of the corner as we dipped our left rear wheel in the gravel, but the move is made. It's clean, no contact whatsoever. I think we gave Hamilton a little bit of a fright, but it's a clean move, and we are up onto the podium. Now it's time to chase after the leading Renault of Daniel Ricciardo, the number 3 Renault. Here we go into the first corner. We are right behind Ricciardo, and you guys can see we've actually dropped Hamilton a bit, and also Ricciardo once again was was starting to fall away from Bottas. So the quicker I can get this move done, the better, because Bottas is very comfortable at this stage, and we don't want him to get too comfortable. But here we go, exactly where we made the move on Hamilton. We are a bit closer to Ricciardo, up the inside. It's much closer than the move with Hamilton, but we get the move done, and that is us now up into P2. I'm sure that the Tifosi fans are out of their seats because we started in P8. I don't think they thought that their favorite team was in with a shot to win this Grand Prix. But like I said at the beginning of the race, our race pace is much better than our quali pace. Here you guys see Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo going side by side. Obviously, our main contenders in the Constructors' Championship is Mercedes. So it's critical for Hamilton to get past Ricciardo to defend that, well, to actually gain on us in the Constructors' Championship. Here we jump on board with my teammate Sebastian Vettel as he is starting to put Max Verstappen under pressure. Down the main straight here in Italy. Come on, Tifosi, we need your support to get this move done for Sebastian as well. Up the inside for Vettel on Max Verstappen, but you guys can see it's still very treacherous out on track. The wet conditions is making it very hard to get moves done. But here we go. Up the inside goes Vettel. Will he have the run towards the next chicane? The Ferrari is stronger in a straight line as far as I know when it comes to power. But here we go. Vettel side by side with Verstappen. But Verstappen defends beautifully from Vettel. He must have had a better exit coming out of the first chicane. So, no, not yet the move done for Vettel. But it's clear that he's got better pace than Verstappen. So hopefully he can get the move done soon. We jump on board with ourselves at the end of lap 21 coming through Parabolica. And you got to see the gap between myself and Valtteri Bottas is 1.2 seconds. But we need to try and get this gap down. You got to see in the straight line, we just absolutely gain on Bottas.
You're in second place. Bottas ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 1.1 seconds. They're on old inters. Ricciardo is behind you. Our gap behind is 3.7 seconds. They're on old inters. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 6 laps to go.
You guys heard it from Jeff himself. 6 laps to go, and it's 8 tenths between myself and Bottas. Guys, I really had a lot of confidence in the straights and into braking zones. Mid-corner, not so much, but into corners, I could feel the Ferrari was just biting as we have a little bit of an oopsie there where we did have a little bit of a track extension. Our first one for this race. 2 more, and we will be slapped with a penalty. So that was just a little bit of an oopsie from me. But the gap is still at 8 tenths of a second, and you guys can see it's so greasy out on track. The rear end just wants to go, but we are just keeping control of this Ferrari. And you guys can see in a straight line, I am quicker than the Mercedes. So we need to make use of this extra power that the Ferrari motor has thanks to our upgrades. Heading through Ascari, you guys can see I'm very aggressive on the curbs, even though I shouldn't be in these wet conditions. But guys, I want to win in front of the home crowd again when it comes to Ferrari. I'm South African, I'm not an Italian, but Ferrari is the team that most F1 drivers dream of driving for, and I would love to win in front of the home crowd. Come on, let's do this. The gap is back up to 1.1 seconds, maybe 1.2 seconds coming out of Parabolica. But I have to say, guys, the first sector and halfway through sector 2, I'm quicker. When you head to the second half of sector 2 and sector 3, Bottas was quicker. So I really had to try and make up as much time as possible in the first half of the lap where I was quicker. You got to see into the first quarter, I've just got so much confidence in that, so much more confidence in that chicane than Bottas. The gap is down to 3/4 of a second. Heading to this next part, it's beautiful. And you got to see we jump on to lap 24, and the gap has come down so significantly. We are tucked up right behind Valtteri Bottas. We now head towards this next part. We're gonna put the car into Rich. I think maybe not. Guys, I'm very scared through that sweeping right-hander. But here we go. Bottas is very early on the brakes. We go for another dive at exactly the same spot. 3 dives, 3 moves. We take the lead of the Italian Grand Prix from Valtteri Bottas, and I'm sure Toto Wolff just absolutely smashed his table in half. This was an absolutely sensational move. I've got the confidence in the Ferrari to go for the late braking moves, and that is us now up into P1. We lead the Italian Grand Prix. We jump back on board with the battle for P3. Here comes Lewis Hamilton and Ricciardo, and I'm sure Mercedes have told Hamilton, get your butt in gear because we need this double podium because, I've taken the lead. So that is Hamilton now up into P3 of this Grand Prix. So it's a Mercedes 2-3, but we are leading the way for our home crowd. And guys, I'm actually very glad that it rained because I think if it was dry, we wouldn't have stood a chance in this race. The wet weather with me putting a little bit more downforce on the front wing is what has given me this confidence. So I am very, very glad indeed. As we come towards almost the end of the race, we are looking at the battle between Max Verstappen and Lance Stroll, and this is now for P7 in the race, but also Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, as well as the second Red Bull of Alexander Albon, is in this fight as well. Here we go into this next section where I am going for the dive bomb, and McGee moves. Verstappen goes to the outside of Stroll. Vettel is right behind him. He doesn't know what to do. There's not enough space on the track. Max goes up the inside of Stroll, but he has a terrible exit, and look at the exit that Lance Stroll has. And now Vettel, because he can't go anywhere, he's under pressure from Albon. So it's a very, very nice battle here between Vettel, Verstappen, Stroll and Albon into the next right-hander, heading down towards Ascari. Here we go. Vettel has got the straight line speed, but Verstappen is ahead of Stroll. Will Vettel get the move done on Stroll? Stroll will go down from P7 to P9. On the outside, heading into Ascari. It's a very tight line through there. I think Max might have just broken away from this battle because he had a beautiful entry towards the corner. Vettel on the outside, and Albon is even starting to get himself into this fight. Vettel and Stroll drag race towards the final corner, Parabolica, and even the Alpha Tauri of Danny Kvyat is getting his nose into this fight. Beautiful battle here. Vettel goes up the inside. The Tifosi fans are cheering. Here we go. Vettel up the inside of the pink Mercedes. Down the main straight. Here we go. Once again, it's going to be a drag race again, and Albon is in the slipstream. Beautiful battling here from these group of drivers. Here we go. Will Albon pull to the inside? Yes, he will. It's a 3-1 moment. Vettel blocks off Albon to secure the inside line. Stroll is still there. He's just not budging that racing point. Around the outside goes Sebastian Vettel, and he takes away P8 from Lance Stroll. Beautiful racing from all these drivers. That was absolutely sensational. Well done to Verstappen. Well done to Vettel. But guys, we jump back on board with us leading the way. Now, we didn't break away from Bottas, but we kept the lead very, very securely. There was nothing that Bottas could do about us. We go through Ascari for the final time in this race. It is a purple lap, and you guys can see we have done we have had a stroke of brilliance, and we have done our part. We round Parabolica for the final time. Don't put the power down too early to spin the car. Out of Parabolica, ERS engaged, and for the second season in a row, we win our homegrown Grand Prix!
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Fermé. What a fantastic race it was. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I think the key here was just the quality of the racecraft, you know? I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari. So, let's review the drivers' standings. Parker increases their championship lead. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to Parker. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
It's time to see how...
It's looking like a winner has emerged in the championship. Is it in the bag? You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Claire. And guys, what an absolutely sensational Italian Grand Prix. We bring home the dub for Ferrari at their home Grand Prix. It's been a good one. Not as good as a weekend for me as for Sebastian Vettel. Unfortunately, Vettel qualified P11, only managed P8 in that very, very treacherous Grand Prix. But we were on top of the conditions, on top of our car, and we really did wonders today. Now, unfortunately, Mercedes did close the gap to a Ferrari in the Constructors, thanks to Hamilton and Bottas as P2 and P3. But in the Drivers' Championship, we have extended our gap to a full 90 points now towards Valtteri Bottas. Guys, if we just keep finishing consistently in the top 5, we can really seal this championship quite early. So I just need to keep my consistency up. But the thing is, Vettel needs to start helping me when it comes to the Constructors' Championship, because it is no longer funny. Mercedes are here to fight. Renault and Red Bull are way too far behind, so they are not a worry for me at all. But Mercedes are really starting to give me a little bit of an itch at the back of my head, because Lewis and Valtteri are always very consistent with their driving, so we can't take those two black Mercedes, those Black Panthers, we can't take them lightly at all. But guys, what a race. And I got on top of the car by about the end of lap 3, start lap 4, and that is when I realized I really do have the pace to win this race. P8 to P1 at our home GP. I'm sure we've made the Italian fans proud, and it all started with this absolutely slobber knocker of a start, going 3 wide with Stroll and Kvyat. Excuse me, there's a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Actually, no, going 3 wide with Ocon and Kvyat. That was just, and actually pulling off the move, having a drag race with Ocon down towards T4 and 5. That is what basically started, that's what gave me that little bit of a confidence boost heading in towards the rest of this Grand Prix. But guys, that has been this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. Before you leave, make sure, if you haven't done it yet, to go check out the links in the description down below. Make sure to go subscribe to my second channel, Forza Watch Gaming. Check out Falcon Gaming South Africa, my South African gaming clan, and also go check me out on social media. I would love to see you guys follow me on social media. I might even give you a little bit of a hi on social media. And guys, second, make sure to drop a like down below on the video if you haven't done it yet so far. With the latest YouTube algorithm, it really does appreciate likes. So the more you guys like, the more my videos will be spread over YouTube and the more subscribers we will gain. We are only 4 subscribers away from our wonderful 200. So if you've got a friend and he loves cars and he loves racing, send him the channel link, man. And if your friend subscribes, let me know in the comments down below, and I will give you a nice little heart in the comments, and I will give you a thank you. And finally, guys, if this is your first time viewing Turbo Fox races and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding that bell to turn on your notifications and never ever miss an awesome future video here on Turbo Fox Races. We've got F1 2020 content, we've got Need for Speed Heat content, we've got Wreckfest content, we've got Gymkhana content, and we've even got podcasts now. So it's all nice and dandy here on Turbo Fox Races, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy your time with us as much as I enjoy making videos for you guys. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. It's been a banger. Let's see what we can do next when we head to Spa. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all next video. Cheers!